As in a dream, you see yourself tumbling down a great, dark staircase. All about you are shadowy images of struggles against fierce opponents and diabolical traps. These give way to another round of images of imposing stone figures, a cool, clear lake, and now of an old yet oddly youthful man. He turns towards you slowly, his long silver hair dancing about him in a fresh breeze.
You have reached the final test, my friend. You are proved clever and powerful, but this is not yet enough. Seek me when you feel yourself worthy.
The dream dissolves around you as his last words echo through the void. You are at the bottom of a seemingly endless stair, winding its way upward beyond your vision. An eerie light coming from all around you casts strange shadows on the walls. To the south is a dark and winding trail. Your old friend, the brass lantern, is at your feet. Well then, let's take our friend the lantern. Take lamp. And I guess at this point, let's go ahead south. It is pitch black. You are likely to be eaten by a grue. Well, then I better turn on the lamp. You are at the junction of a north-south passage and an east-west passage. To the north, you can make out the bottom of a stairway where we came from. The ways to the east and south are relatively cramped, but a wider trail leads to the west. Standing before you is a great rock. Embedded within it is an elvish sword. Oh, take sword. The sword is deeply embedded within the rock. You can't even begin to budge it. Guess we're not taking this sword this time. Well, then I guess we'll head to the west. You are west of the junction where the rock-bound passage widens out into a large, flat area. Although the land here is barren, you can see vegetation to the west. South of here is a mighty wall of stone, ancient and crumbling. To the southwest, the wall has decayed enough to form an opening, through which seeps a thin mist. A trail dips sharply into rocky terrain to the northwest. Oh, interesting. Yeah, maybe I'll just go west again. This is a remarkable spot in the dungeon. Perhaps 200 feet above you is a gaping hole in the earth's surface, through which pours bright sunshine. A few seedlings from the world above, nurtured by the sunlight and occasional rains, have grown into giant trees, making this a virtual oasis in the desert of the underground empire. To the west is a sheer precipice, dropping nearly 50 feet to jagged rocks below. The way south is barred by a foreboding stone wall, crumbling from age. There is a jagged opening in the wall to the southwest, through which leaks a fine mist. The land to the east looks lifeless and barren. A rope is tied to one of the large trees here and is dangling over the side of the cliff, reaching down to the shelf below. It seems as if somebody has been here recently, as there is some fresh bread lying beneath one of the other trees. Sure, let's take bread. Taken. You seem to hear from the southwest the sound of the seas. Yeah, let's head southwest then. You are standing atop a steep cliff. looking west over a vast ocean. Far below, the surf pounds at a shady beach. To the south and east are rolling hills filled with eerie shadows. A path cuts into the face of the cliff, descends towards the beach. To the north is a tall stone wall which ends at the cliff edge. It was obviously built long ago, and directly north is a spot where you could climb over the rubble of the decaying wall. You can hear quiet footsteps nearby. Southeast. You are in a dark and shadowy land. All around you are gentle hills and eerie shadows. Far above, shrouded in mist, you can barely make out the ceiling of the enormous cavern that spans this entire land. Let's try heading east. You are at the eastern end of a dark, featureless landscape of shadow hills. Past to the east and southeast, re-enter the rock. You can hear quiet footsteps nearby. What happens if I go south? You're at the southern end of the shadowy land. North of here is a train of shadow hills, and you can hear quiet footsteps nearby. But what if I wait? Let's try northwest. You are near the southern end of the land of shadow, and the ground here is soft and spongy, and it becomes quicksand to the south. North and east of here are gentle rolling hills. A gentle sea breeze wafts over a steeply sloping path to the west. Then let's head east. You are in an ominously dark land of rolling hills. The ground becomes softer to the south. Through the shadows, a cloaked and hooded figure appears before you, blocking the northern exit of the room and carrying a brightly glowing sword. From nowhere, the sword from the junction appears in your hand, wildly glowing. Oh. Seems we're fighting a shadowy figure in the land of shadow. Let's do a save. Well, let's attack the hooded figure with our sword. A good parry. Your sword wounds the hooded figure. The figure has a light wound which hasn't affected its seemingly great strength. The hooded figure tries to sneak past your guard, but you twist away. Continuing the fight. Your sword wounds the hooded figure. The figure has some wounds and is probably not capable of hindering your movement. The hooded figure catches you off guard and wounds you. Ooh. A quick stroke, but the hooded figure is on guard. You are wounded by a light thrust. You charge, but the hooded figure jumps nimbly aside. The hooded figure catches you off guard and wounds you. Uh-oh, this isn't looking too good for us. A quick stroke, but the hooded figure is on guard. You're in your wounded state. You cannot defend yourself against your still quick opponent. Slowly and carefully, the figure starts to remove its hood as you fall to the ground. Dead. Restore. Attack figure with sword. Starting the fight over. Figure has a light wound which hasn't affected their strength, and I'm wounded by a thrust. Quick stroke catches the hooded figure off guard. Blood trickles down the figure's arm. The figure has some wounds and is probably not capable of hindering your movement, but we're wounded by a light thrust. Try again. Good parry. Your sword wounds the hooded figure. The figure is hurt, and its strength appears to be fading. The hooded figure attempts a thrust, but its weakened state prevents hitting you. A good stroke, but it's too slow. The hooded figure attempts a thrust, but isn't, so we didn't hurt each other at all. Your move was not quick enough and misses the mark. The hooded figure attempts a thrust, but its weakened state prevents hitting you. Both dodged It's coming down to the wire. A good parry. Your sword wounds the hooded figure. The figure appears to be badly hurt and defenseless. The hooded figure attempts to thrust, but his weakened state prevents from hitting it. Let's take their hood off. You slowly remove the hood from your badly wounded opponent and recoil in horror at the sight of your own face. Weary and wounded, a faint smile comes to the lips, and then the face starts to change. Very slowly, into that of an old, wizened person. The image fades with it. The body of your hooded opponent. The cloak remains on the ground. Take cloak. You are now wearing the cloak. We are carrying the cloak and the hood that are being worn now. And we now have the sword, a piece of whey bread, and a lamp. Well, I think we can head north a few times to get out of the land of shadow. You are west of the junction, where the rock-bound passage widens out into a large flat area. Although the land here is barren, you can see vegetation. So we're back in the barren area, which means if we head east, we're back at the junction, where this giant rock is here, but the sword is now in our hands. Let's do a little save. Okay. I guess let's head south. You are in a dark and quite creepy crawlway with passages leading to the north, east, south, and southwest. Let's just keep heading south. The foggy room. You are in a dank passage filled with a wispy fog. A spooky passage leads north, and a wider path leads off to the south. To the west, the path leaves the rock and enters an eerie, shadowy land. Ah, so we're parallel to the shadow lands that we were just in. Lake shore. You are in a wide cavern on the north shore of a small lake. Some polished stone steps lead to the southeast, and a sheer rock face prevents any movement around the lake to the southwest. The cavern is dimly lit from above. Turn off lamp. The lamp is now off. Well, I suppose if there's a lake shore here, then we should be able to... Maybe we need to go swimming. Enter lake. Or maybe I can just try go swimming. Okay, it does not know the word swimming. Enter the lake. You are floating on the surface of the lake. The water is ice cold, and your ability to survive here for long is very questionable. A swim north puts you at your starting point. Conditions to the east are poor, where the lake turns into swamp. The west and south shores are suitable for walking, however. Okay. Well, what happens if I dive down? Oh. You are below the surface of the lake. It turns out that the lake is quite shallow and the bottom is only a few feet below you. Considering the frigid temperature of the water, you should probably not plan on extended stay. The lake bottom is sandy and a few hardy plants and algae live there. There's a lamp here and there's a sword here. Oh no, a tremendous fish just swallowed you whole. Okay. You find yourself deep within the earth in a barren prison cell. Outside the iron-barred windows, you can see a great fiery pit. Flames leap up and very nearly sear your flesh. After a while, footfalls can be heard in the distance, then closer and closer. The door swings open and in walks an old man. He is dressed simply in a hood and cloak, wearing a few simple jewels, carrying something under one arm and leaning on a wooden staff. A single key, as if to a massive prison cell, hangs from his belt. He raises the staff towards you and hear him speak. as if in a dream. I await you, though your journey be long and full of peril. Go then and let me not wait long. You feel some great power well up inside you and you fall to the floor. The next moment you are awakening, as if from a deep slumber. I had just restarted the game, so let's restore and try that again. South back to the lake shore. I think we just need to be a little more careful about the things in the lake. So let's try this again. Enter lake. You are floating on the surface of the lake. The water is ice cold and your ability to survive here is questionable. Swim north puts you at the starting point. Conditions to the east are poor. A giant rock, previously hidden among the rocks, is heading right towards you, its mouth gaping wide. Oh, down? You are below the surface of the lake. It turns out that the lake is quite shallow at the bottom. Considering the frigid temperature in the water, you should probably not plan on extended stay. There's a lamp here and a sword here. Out of the corner of your eye, a small shiny object in the sand is in the sand. A moment later, it's gone. Take all. Took the lamp. Got a brief glimpse of something in the sand. I took the sword. I can't carry that much sand under the water. The shiny object. I reach for the shiny object, and it's a simple golden amulet. Plants an algae that I can't carry that much under the water. Let's go up. The icy waters are taking their toll. You'll not be able to hold out much longer. Let's head south then. Actually, let's head west. The western shore. You are on the western shore of the lake. The ground here is quite hard, but a few sickly reeds manage to grow near the water's edge. The only path leads into the rock to the south. Let's see, we're currently wearing a golden amulet. We have the sword, the lamp, we're wearing a cloak and a hood. I guess we'll head south. You are in a small chamber carved in the rock, with the sole exit to the north. Mounted on one wall is a table labeled Scenic Vista, whose featureless surface is angled towards you. One might believe that the table was used to indicate points of interest in the view from this spot, like those found in many parks. On the other hand, your surroundings are far from spacious, and by no stretch of the imagination could this spot be considered scenic. An indicator above the table reads 2. Mounted on one wall is a flaming torch, which fills the room with a flickering light. The indicator above the table flickers briefly, then changes to 3. Take torch. Well, if it's on 3, what happens if I push is there a button to push? Do I need to walk through the painting or something? One might believe that the table was used to indicate points of interest. Touch indicator. The indicator above the table flickers briefly, then changes to 4. Wait. Changes to 1. Enter table. You hit your head against the viewing table as you attempt this feat. Maybe I just need to go into it? Do I just head south? Touch table? Oh. Timber room. This is a long and narrow passage which is cluttered with broken timbers. A wider passage comes from the east and turns at the west end of the room into a very narrow passageway. From the west comes a strong draft. There is a broken timber here. What happens if I go east? Ladder bottom. This is a rather wide room. On one side, it is the bottom of a narrow wooden ladder. To the west and south are passages leaving the room. South? Dead end. You have come to a dead end in the mine. There is a small pile of coal here. That was very similar to Zork back when we were in Zork 1 in the coal mine shaft. You suddenly find yourself back in the viewing room. An indicator above the table reads 2. Well, if that one was from Zork 1, then where does this take us in Zork 2? Room 8. This is a small chamber carved out of the rock and at the end of a short crawl. On the wall is crudely chiseled the number 8. The only apparent exit to the east. Seems to be a blur and a loud whirring sound resonating through the rock. A spray can is in the corner. In large type is the legend Frobah's Magic Brew Repellent. Ah, we are back at, so this is back in a room that we were in Zork 2. Take Brew Repellent. Taken. Great. So then if I wait a little bit, you suddenly find yourself back in the viewing room. Ah. So, but if I'm in 3 and the indicator says 3, well, what happens if I touch it now? Damp passage. Looking at my little map here. Oh, the damp passage is over by the junction. This is a particularly damp spot, even by dungeon standards. You can see a crossroads to the west, and 2 nearly identical passages lead east and northeast. A stone channel, wide and deep, steeply descends into the room from the south. It is covered with moss and lichen, and is far too slippery to climb. The channel crosses the room, but the opening where it once continued north is now blocked by rubble. Well, since I don't think a flaming torch is going to survive swimming in the lake, this might be a good opportunity to drop the torch. And I guess what happens if I go west? It is pitch black. You are likely to be eaten by a grue. Oh yeah. You suddenly find yourself back in the viewing room. Well, I haven't been to a Zork 4. Nor do I think one exists, so save. Touch table? Okay, you've been instantly transported to another place. This is the interior of a huge temple of primitive construction. A few flickering torches east and shallow illumination over the altar, which is still drenched with the blood of human sacrifice. Behind the altar is an enormous statue of a demon which seems to reach towards you with dripping fangs and razor-sharp talons. A low noise begins behind you, and you turn to see hundreds of hairy shapes. A guttural chant issues from their throats. Near you stands a figure draped in a robe of deepest black, brandishing a huge sword. The chant grows louder as the robed figure approaches the altar. The large figure spots you and approaches menacingly. He reaches into his cloak and pulls out a great, glowing dagger. He pulls you into the altar, and with a murmur of approval from the throng, he slices you neatly across your abdomen. You have died. I don't know where that was, and I don't know where it would have gone, which is the whole reason why we saved. Restore. I think we're not going to go to, quote, Zork 4 anymore. Let's leave. Back to the western shore. We can go back to the lake. You're floating on the surface of the lake, and the water is still cold. Well, let's head south then, because we don't want to swim into the swamp. So heading south. Southern shore. You are on the southern shore of the lake. Rock formations prevent movement to the west, and thickening swamp to the east makes the going all but impossible. To the south, where the beach meets a rock formation, you can make out a dark passage sloping steeply upward into the rock. Let's follow that path. It's pitch black. You were likely to be eaten by a grue. Turn on lamp. Oh, turn on lamp. It's too dark to see. Let's head north. Interesting. It's too dark for our lamp. Well, then I guess it's a good thing I've got some grue repellent, because... Use. Spray self with grue repellent. Wait, where did the grue repellent go? Where's my lamp? What? Did I drop it in the lake? If you want to go into the lake, you should go... The entire dungeon shakes violently and loose debris starts to fall from above you. Uh-oh. We're on the lake. We swim down. Why is all my stuff falling into the water? And a tremendous fish swallowed us whole again. Restore. Okay, let's try that again. I don't know why swimming seems to drop all of my stuff. Let's enter the lake. And we'll swim south. And I've already lost everything. Enter the lake. Swim down. I think I am in an unwinnable situation. Because I don't know where the bread went. Well, I was able to get the sword, the lamp, but I still don't have the grue repellent. Well, I think unfortunately I'm going to have to restart the whole thing. That does require us going back to the Land of Shadows again, so fun. All right. Back at the endless stair. Let's go ahead and take the lantern. Okay, we are standing at the junction. Back in time. Because, unfortunately, this particular dungeon, albeit a bit shorter, seems to have a lot more unwinnable situations. You see, when the violent shaking happened, it blocked off some of my routes. So it seems I definitely need to do this in a very specific order. So let's go ahead and take care of that vista room by just heading south first. South through the creepy crawl, south through the foggy room that is next to the shadowy lands that we're going to have to go and have another confrontation with a hooded figure at the lakeshore. Here we go. Drop lamp. Oh. So if I don't want to lose my lamp, I'm going to put it here on the shore and then enter lake. You're floating on the surface of the lake. The water is cold. Okay. Let's do a quick save and hope the fish doesn't eat us this time. Swimming down. We're underwater and we do see that shiny thing, and I want to take that shiny thing. The shiny object slips from your grasp and back onto the floor of the lake where it is covered in sand. Let's try again. And a tremendous fish swallowed. Restore. Swim down. Take shiny. You reach the shiny object. It is a simple golden amulet. Unfortunately, this game has a lot of RNG. Let's swim back up to the surface. The icy waters are taking their toll and you will not be able to hold out much longer. So we'll need to now head west to the western shore. You're on the western shore of the lake. The ground here is quite hard, but a few sickly reeds manage to grow near the water's edge. The only path leads into the rock to the south. Heading south, we are back in the Scenic Vista with the wall labeled Scenic Vista. It is currently labeled 4, and I do not want that. So instead, I will take the torch that is mounted on the wall, which is filling the room with a flickering light. And I'm going to wait. I don't think there was anything in 1 I wanted, so let's keep waiting. Now the indicator is on 2. I did want the glue repellent, so let's touch the table. And we are in room 8 with the crudely chiseled number 8 on the wall. The only apparent exit is to the east, but we won't need that because we won't really be able to enter that because if anyone remembers back in Zork 2, the carousel is currently activated, so it seems like we did sort of a time traveling to someone else's game that's in progress. But let's take the brew repellent. Got it. And we're back in the viewing room. And if we wait again, now it's on 3, which is where we are. So let's touch the table again. And now we're in the damp passage where I'm going to drop torch. I'm not really sure why our character is not very good at holding on to things. But since they seem to not be able to swim and hold on to things at the same time, we're going to leave the torch there so it doesn't get put out. And we're back in the viewing room. let's go ahead north back to the western shore and do another save, since apparently there is some nasty large fish in the lake that can just swallow us whole. And here I thought it was going to be the cold, icy, frigid nature of it. Let's go ahead east to enter the lake. You are floating on the surface of the lake. The water is ice cold, and your ability to survive here for long is very questionable. We want to go south because the east is a swamp. However, a giant rock previously hidden among the rocks is heading right towards you, its mouth gaping wide. Let's get out of here and head... Actually, let's dive down. Yep, there is a Gru repellent here. Got the Gru repellent, and so now we should be able to go back up so we could avoid the rock, which would be a giant bird swooping at us. And now we'll head south. Okay. I don't know what it is about swimming onto the lake, but we just drop everything that's not being worn. So. We're at the southern shore of the lake. Rock formations prevent movement to the west, and thickening swamp to the east makes the going all but impossible. To the south, where the beach meets a rock formation, you can make out a dark passage sloping steeply upward into the rock. I think I want to go south, where it's pitch black, and we learned that the lantern wouldn't work here, so let's actually go back north, spray self with repellent. The spray smells like a mixture of old socks and burning rubber. If I were a Gru, I'd sure stay clear. So we'll head south. And then I think I need to head east. There are odd noises in the darkness, and there is no exit in that direction. Maybe it's south again? It's pitch black. The ground continues to slope upward away from the lake. You can barely detect a dim light from the east. Ah, now we'll head east. Ah. You are between some rock and a dark place. The room is lit dimly from above, revealing a lone dark path sloping down into the west. To one side of the room is a large manhole cover. The light from above seems to be focused in the center of the room, where a single key is lying in the dust. That horrible smell is much less pungent now. Ah, the spray seems to have worn off. Well then, let me take this key. And I think I want to open the manhole. The cover is moved a bit to one side, revealing a small hole leading into darkness. Do I need to spray myself again? I guess I'll just try to head down. Let's save. And we'll head down this hole. You are in a wide stone channel, aqueduct, part of the water supply system for the Great Underground Empire. The source of water was a waterfall to the south, which has long since dried up. Water flowed along the aqueduct to the north. This region is lit from above, although the source of light is not apparent. Well then I guess let's head north. You are now on one of the tallest arches of the aqueduct, hundreds of feet above a rocky chasm. The immensity of the aqueduct project is apparent from here. Stone supports rise from the rock floor to form massive arches, which traverse the region from north to south. The water-carrying channel here is wide and deep. To the west and far below, you can make out a balcony which must command a wide view of the aqueduct. Let's keep heading north. You are near the northern end of this segment of the aqueduct system. To the south is a slightly uphill. The bulk of the aqueduct looms ominously, towering above a gorge. To the north, the water channel drops precipitously and enters a rocky hole. The damp moss and lichen would certainly make that a one-way trip. I mean, let's go down the slide. Down the water slide, we find the damp passage. This is a particularly damp spot, even by dungeon standards. You can see a crossroads to the west, and two nearly identical passages lead east and northeast. A stone channel, wide and deep, steeply descends into the room from the south. That's where we came from. It is covered with moss and lichen, and is far too slippery to climb. Well, obviously we had a fun time riding it down. The channel crosses the room, but the opening where it once continued north is now blocked by rubble. There is a torch here. Ah, take torch. There we go. All right. So we have our torch now. And we're in the damp passage. Well, I think we're good to head west then, back to the junction, where the elvish sword is still embedded in the rock, and it seems like it'll come to us when we need it. So let's go ahead and save. And I don't think we need to do any more swimming in the lake. At least I hope not. Yeah. But with that, let's head back into the shadowy regions. South, you are in a dark and quiet creepy crawlway with passages leading to the north, east, south, and southwest. Well, then let's keep going south. You are in a dank passage filled with a wispy fog. A spooky passageway leads north, and a wider path heads off to the south. To the west, the path leaves the rock and enters an eerie, shadowy land. And that's where we need to go, to the west. You are at the eastern end of a dark, featureless landscape of shadow hills. Paths to the east and southeast re-enter the rock. Through the shadows, a cloaked and hooded figure appears before you. Blocking the western exit from the room and carrying a brightly glowing sword. From nowhere, the sword from the junction appears in your hand, wildly glowing. Well, here we go. Let's do a save. We have the sword. So, we save because we have to now have RNG on our side, and who knows if that random number generator is going to let us win, or if we're going to have to restore and die. Fingers crossed. Here we go. Attack. Figure with sword. Quick stroke catches the hooded figure off guard. Blood trickles down the figure's arm. The figure has a light wound which hasn't affected its seemingly great strength. Your quick reflexes cannot stop the hooded figure's stroke. You are hit. You charge, but the hooded figure jumps nimbly aside and wounds you. Uh-oh. I don't think we're winning this one. Move was not quick enough and misses the mark. The hooded figure thrusts, but you fight back and send it flying to the ground. Oh. Your move was not quick enough and misses the mark. The hooded figure catches you off guard and wounds you again. We're not hitting and we're getting wounded more and more by light thrusts. The hooded figure is hit with a quick slash. The figure has some wounds and it is probably not capable of hindering your movement. The hooded figure swings its sword and sends your sword to the ground. Although you are defenseless, the figure reaches for your sword and hands it back to you, nodding grimly. Then I guess we'll keep fighting. A good slash, but misses by a mile. The hooded figure swings its sword and sends yours flying to the ground, and picks it up again and hands it back to you, nodding grimly. Okay, Meta Knight. You charge, but the hooded figure jumps nimbly aside. The hooded figure thrusts, but you fight back and send it flying to the ground. Your move's not quick enough and misses the mark. The hooded figure swings its sword and sends yours flying, but just hands it back to you again. And again. A quick stroke, but the hooded figure is on guard. Your quick reflexes cannot stop the hooded figure's stroke. You are hit. I don't know how many more hits we can take. We're just bleeding out here. Too slow. The hooded figure swings. Hands me the sword. Diagnosing myself, you are very seriously wounded. One more wound would very likely do you in. The hooded figure swings its sword and sends yours flying, but then just... So as I'm looking myself over, he sends my sword flying, picks it up, and hands it back to me. Wait, you can't see the sword anymore. I thought he just handed it back to me. Attack figure with sword. Your move is not quick enough and misses the mark. You dodge as the hooded figure comes in low. Your move's not quick enough, and I miss. The hooded figure is hit with a quick slash. The figure has some wounds and is probably not capable of hindering your movement. The hooded figure tries to sneak past your guard, but you twist away. The hooded figure is hit with a quick slash. The hooded figure is hit again with a quick slash. The figure is hurt, and its strength appears to be fading. The hooded figure attempts to thrust, but its weakened state prevents hitting you. You charge, but the hooded figure jumps nimbly aside. Your quick reflexes cannot stop the hooded figure's stroke. You are hit. Okay, well, that didn't take me down. A good parry. Your sword wounds the hooded figure. The figure appears to be badly hurt and defenseless. The hooded figure attempts a thrust, but in its weakened state prevents hitting you. Well, if he's weakened, let's see who it is that's fighting us, which those who were here earlier already saw since we had to restart this, but... Let's take his hood. You slowly remove the hood from your badly wounded opponent and recoil in horror at the sight of your own face, weary and wounded. A faint smile comes to the lips, and then the face starts to change, very slowly, into that of an old, wizened person. The image fades and with it, the body of your hooded opponent. The cloak remains on the ground. Take cloak. Well, diagnosing myself, you are very seriously wounded. One more wound would very likely do you in. So I must have healed just enough to take one more hit before getting brought down. That's kind of crazy. Well, let's head west into the Land of Shadows and head north a few times to get out of here. You are west of the junction, where the rock-bound passage widens out into a large flat area. Although the land here is barren, you can see vegetation to the west. South of here is a mighty wall of stone, ancient and crumbling. To the southwest, the wall has decayed enough to form an opening, through which seeps a thin mist. A trail dips sharply into the rocky terrain to the northwest. Well, let's save, since we got the combat out of the way, and head west. This is a remarkable spot in the dungeon. Perhaps 200 feet above you is a gaping hole in the earth's surface, through which pours bright sunshine. A few seedlings from the world above, matured by the sunlight and occasional rains, have grown into giant trees, making this a virtual oasis in the desert of the Underground Empire. To the west is a sheer precipice, dropping nearly 50 feet to jagged rocks below. The way south is barred by a foreboding stone wall, crumbling from age. There is a jagged opening in the wall to the southwest, which would lead to the Land of Shadows. A rope is tied to one of the large trees here and is dangling over the side of the cliff, reaching down to the shelf below. It seems as if somebody has been here recently, as there is some fresh bread lying beneath one of the other trees. Okay, let's take that bread. And let's climb down the rope. This is a rock-strewn ledge near the base of a tall cliff. The bottom of the cliff is another 15 feet below. You have little hope of climbing up the cliff face, but you might be able to scramble down from here, though it is doubtful you could return. A long piece of rope is dangling down from the top of the cliff and is within your reach. A large chest, closed and locked, is lying among the boulders. Ah. Take. Open chest. The chest is locked and cannot be opened. Take chest. Unlock chest. Key. The key, which initially seemed certain to fit the lock, seems to change shape and will not enter the keyhole. Huh. So this isn't the right key. I guess we'll climb up the rope. You try to climb the rope, but you cannot reach the top even with your best effort. At the edge of the cliff above you, a man appears. He looks down at you and speaks.
Hello down there. You seem to have a problem. Maybe I can help you.
He chuckles in an unsettling sort of way.
Perhaps if you tied the chest to the end of the rope, I might be able to drag it up for you. Then I'll be more than happy to help you up.
He laughs again. Save. Tie chest to... I don't really have a choice, but I'm going to save in case this is the wrong choice. Tie the chest to the rope. The chest is now tied to the rope. The man above you looks pleased.
Oh, there's a good friend. Thank you very much indeed.
He pulls on the rope and the chest is lifted to the top of the cliff and out of sight. With a short laugh, he disappears.
I'll be back in a short while,
are his last words. I guess we wait? There is a great tremor from within the earth. The entire dungeon shakes violently and loose debris starts to fall from above you. Uh-oh. Wait a little bit longer. A familiar voice calls down to you.
Are you still there?
He bellows with a coarse laugh.
Well then, grab onto the rope and we'll see what we can do.
The rope drops to within your reach. Grab rope. You grab securely onto the rope. The man starts to heave on the rope, and within a few moments you arrive at the top of the cliff. The man removes the last few valuables from the chest and prepares to leave.
You've been a good sport. Here, take this. For whatever good it is. I can't see that I'll be needing one.
He hands you a plain wooden staff from the bottom of the chest and begins examining his valuables. The chest, open and empty, is at your feet. You are carrying a wooden staff, a piece of whey bread, wearing the cloak and the hood, sword, torch, and a strange key, the grue repellent, and a golden amulet that is being worn. Your friend examines his valuables with great pride. Talk to friend? The man is thoroughly engrossed in the examination of his booty and doesn't seem to hear you. I mean, I got something. Examine the wooden staff. I see nothing special about the wooden staff. I guess let's just head out of here then. Your friend, moving quickly, dodges behind some trees and is lost from sight. Oh well. Heading east to the barren area and back to the junction. You're at the junction of a north-south passage and an east-west passage. To the north, you can make out the bottom of a stairway where the bottom of the endless stairway from Zork 2 was. I suppose we'll just head east again, back to the damp passage. This is a particularly damp spot even by dungeon standards. You can see a crossroads to the west. A stone channel wide and deep seeping descends into the room from the south. It is covered with... Okay, far too slippery. The channel crosses the room, but the opening where it once continued north is now blocked by rubble. I'll head east then? Dead end. You've come to the end of 2 adjoining passages to the west and the northwest. We'll head northwest. You're in a room with passages heading southwest and southeast. The north wall is ornately carved, filled with strange runes and writing in an unfamiliar language. Read runes? The runes are in an ancient language. Some pictures among the runes depict flames, stone statues, and figures of old men. Let me see if I can head north. No? Not sure what to do with those runes, so I guess we'll just head southeast and then west back to the damp passage. And west again back to the junction, and south to the creepy crawl. And I think at this point we'll head east. We're in a dark and quite creepy crawlway with passages leading to the north, east, south, and southwest. Well, we've gone every direction except east from this room, so... Ooh, a tight squeeze. This is a very low and narrow passage leading east to west. We'll keep heading east. This is a chamber of breathtaking beauty, a crystal grotto. Mighty stalagmites form structured shapes of rock, encrusted with crystalline formations. Phosphorescent mosses, fed by a trickle of water from some unseen source above, make the crystals glow and sparkle with every color of the rainbow. There is an opening to the west, and a man-made passage that heads south. Well, then I guess I'll head south. It's pretty. I like this one better. This is the north end of a large hall with a vaulted ceiling. A long, tiled hallway leads north through a tall arch. Although the origin or purpose of this room is unclear, there is a large rendering of a royal seal of Lord Dimwit Flathead carved on the wall. Is there another direction I can go? Maybe south? Ah. Great door. This is the south end of a monumental hall, full of dust and debris from a recent earthquake. To the east is a great iron door, rusted shut. To its right, however, is a gaping cleft in the rock, and behind a cleared area. I guess I'll... Can I head east? This is the entrance to the Royal Museum, the finest and grandest in the great underground empire. To the south, down a few steps, is the entrance to the Royal Puzzle, and to the east, through a stone door, is the Royal Jewel Collection. A wooden door to the north is open and leads to the Museum of Technology. To the west is a great iron door, rusted shut. To its left, however, is a cleft in the rock providing a western route away from the museum. Ah, I see. So the door was rusted shut, but now we can kind of walk around it. Nice. I guess we'll open the wooden door. Oh, it's already open. Well, perhaps I'll head into the jewel room then. Ah, open stone door. You are in a high-ceilinged chamber in the middle of which sits a tall, round steel cage, which is securely locked. In the middle of the cage is a pedestal on which the crown jewels of the great underground empire, a scepter, a jeweled knife, and a golden ring. A small bronze plaque, now tarnished, is on the cage. Let's head west and see if there is something that I can do about that in the technology room by heading to the museum entrance in the north. This is a large hall which hosted the technological exhibits of the great underground empire. A door to the south is open, where we came from. Directly in front of you is a large golden machine, which has a seat with a console in front. On the console is a single button and a dial connected to a 3-digit display which reads 948. The machine is surprisingly shiny and shows few signs of age. A strange gray machine, shaped somewhat like a clothes dryer, is on one side of the room. On the other side of the hall is a powerful-looking black machine, a tight tangle of wires, pipes, and motors. A plaque is mounted near the door. The writing is faded, however, and cannot be made out clearly. The two machines seem to be in bad shape, rusting in many spots. Maybe I can still make out something on that plaque? Read plaque. Okay, the words cannot be made out at all. No pictures, no nothing. Examine gold machine. The machine consists of a seat and a console containing one small button and a dial connected to a display which reads 948. I wonder what this machine is. Well, it's got a 3-digit number, so I'll keep that in mind. 948. South. There was another plaque in the jewel room. Let me read bronze plaque in the jewel room. The bronze plaque reads, Crown Jewels, presented to the Royal Museum by His Gracious Lord Dimwit Flathead, dedicated 777 GUE. A 3-digit year. I mean, maybe that's... So maybe that gold is something with the numbers? Maybe I can head back to the museum entrance. I'm gonna do a save. And then we'll head north and let's see if I can set display to 777. The dial is set to 777. Enter machine. You are now in the gold machine. Press button. The game just closed on me. Okay. I am sorry about that. I don't know if I'll be able to restore the save I was doing. I will try. Okay, it did restore. We're back at the museum entrance. I don't know why that happened. Let's try that again. Set display to, I don't know, I guess we'll go one below it, 776. Enter gold machine. Press button. That was weird. I guess it didn't like 777. You experience a brief period of distortion. Where your vision returns, your surroundings appear to have changed. From outside the door, you hear the sound of guards talking. You notice that everything you were holding is gone. Oh. You are in a large unfinished room, probably intended to be a part of the Royal Museum. Through the door you can hear voices which, from their sound, belong to military or police personnel. A strange gray machine, shaped somewhat like a clothes dryer, is on one side of the room, and on the other side of the hall is a powerful-looking black machine, a tight tangle of wires, pipes, and motors. A plaque is mounted near the door. The gray machine, it turns out, is a Froboz's magic pressurizer, used in the coal mines of the Empire. Oh, so was the device that we used in the coal mines to make that diamond, back in Zork 1. The black machine is a Froboz's magic room spinner. You were responsible for that carousel room. The golden machine is referred to as a temporizer. All are non-working models donated by Froboz's Co-President John D. Flathead. I don't think it was... I think it works since I just used it. Guess I'll stand up. Looking around. Directly in front of you is a large golden machine which has a seat with a console in front. On the console is a single button and a dial connected to a 3-digit display which reads 776. The machine is surprisingly shiny and shows few signs of age. Set dial or display to, what was it, 946? The dial is set to 946. You hear from outside the door guards marching away, their voices fading after a few moments. A booming crash signals the closure of what must be a tremendous door. Then there is silence. I think this might be my chance. Heading south. Open door. Head south. Museum entrance. This appears to be an unfinished entranceway to the Royal Museum. There are doors to the east and the north, and a blind stairway to the south. The heavy iron doors to the west is closed and locked. I think I need to open... east door? Can I open the east door? The door is locked, probably by the guards on their way out. Oh. Huh. Okay, I'll head north and then close door. I guess I'll go back to 946. Enter gold machine. Press button. You experience a brief period of disorientation. When your vision returns, your surroundings appear somewhat altered. You're in the museum. Maybe I'm not in the right year? Shouldn't my stuff still be here? Maybe it was 948? Enter gold machine. Press button. Yeah, here we go. Now I'm in the right year. There is a golden amulet here, the Gru repellent. Yeah, okay. Well, it's a good thing that I came back here. Okay. So I took everything that I could. I tried to take the plaque, but it's bolted to the wall. The gray machine is too big, and the black machine is too big, and the gold machine is too big and can't be carried. Couldn't take the button. Definitely can't take the dial. Interesting that I tried to take the seat. Maybe I can interact with that later. Golden amulet I'm wearing. I've got my Gru repellent, my strange key, the torch, the sword, the hood, the cloak, a piece of the bread, and staff. Great. Okay. Open wooden. Maybe I can move where this golden machine is and then time travel? Push gold machine south. This is the entrance to the Royal Museum. The finest and grandest in the great underground empire. To the south, down a few steps, is the entrance to the Royal Puzzle. To the east, through the stone door, is the Royal Jewel Collection. A wooden door to the north is open and leads there. Okay, to the west is the Great Iron Door, which is shut. And there's a cleft in the rock, so we can go west. With some effort, you push the machine into the room with you. Okay. Open stone door. It's not locked here, so let's push the gold machine east into the jeweled room. And with some effort, you push the machine into the room with you. So let's go ahead and set display. Make sure we want 948. So that's the year we're in now, is 948. Set dial, or sorry, display to 776, because apparently 777 exits the game. Enter gold machine. You are now in the gold machine. Press button. Experience a brief period of distortion. When your vision returns, your surroundings appear to have changed. From outside the door, you hear the sounds of guards talking. You notice that everything you were holding is gone, and you notice the golden machine has disappeared. But... Okay, so the machine isn't here with us, but it was in the room when we were in the technology part of the museum, so hopefully that's back where it is. You are in a high-ceiling chamber, in the center of which is a pedestal, which is the intended home of the crown jewels of the great underground empire. A jeweled knife, a golden ring, and the royal scepter. The room is by appearances unfinished. Through the door you can hear voices which, from their sound, belong to the military or police personnel. One particularly loud and grating voice can now be heard above the others outside the room.
Very nice, very nice. Not nearly secure.
Not near enough security, but very nice.
Now, Lord Feepness, pay attention. I've been thinking about what we need is a dam. A tremendous dam to control the frigid river. With thousands of gates. Yes, I can see it now. We shall call it Flood control dam number 2. No, not quite right. Ah, it will be flood control dam number 3. Pardon me, my lord, but wouldn't that be just a tad excessive? Nonsense. Now, let me tell you my idea for hollowing out volcanoes.
With that, the voices trail out into nothingness. Well, now we know why Flood Control Dam number 3 got its name. Take the ring. You are now wearing the golden ring. Great. Listen to door. The stone door makes no sound. Listen to guard. The voices are muffled by the door, which, fortunately for you, separates you. They seem to be in heated debate on the topic of the soon-to-be constructed royal puzzle. Listening to the guards again, the voices are muffled by the door. They seem to be in a heated debate about the topic of the excessive nature of the royal government. They seem to be in heated debate on the topic of the soon-to-be constructed royal puzzle. You hear from outside the doors, guards marching away, their voices fading. After a few moments, a booming crash signals the close of what must be a tremendous door. And then there is silence. Open stone door. Ah, I can open it from the inside, apparently. Let's head to the museum entrance. Open wooden door to the north. It's an unfinished royal museum. There are doors to the east and north. So let's go ahead and head north. Okay. Close door. You're in a large unfinished room, probably intended to be part of the royal museum. A strange gray machine shaped somewhat like a clothes dryer. Okay. So that's the gray machine that does makes coal into diamonds, and the magic room spinner from Frobaz. Directly in front of you is a large golden machine which has a seat with a console in front. On the console is a single button and a dial connected to a 3-digit display which reads 776. Okay, let's first set the display to 948, which is the year we came from, and enter gold machine. So in the same way that the gold machine went back to where it was after we time traveled in it, if I were to just try to take the ring and just drop here on the floor, but then the guards would probably find it and just shrug and put it back. So maybe I can hide, look under seat. You notice a small hollow area under the seat. Ah, hide ring under seat. The ring is concealed underneath the seat. Now we can push the button. All right, Technology Museum. You are in the Golden Machine. This is an exhibit of Empire technology. A wooden door to the south is closed. The strange machine is here, but they're all old. The gray one, shaped like the clothes dryer, and the black machine. Let's look under seat. You find the ring under the seat and put it on your finger. Great. Let's stand up and head south. Oh, open wooden door. Now we head south. Museum entrance, open stone door, and head east. And here's all my stuff, which means I'm in the right time. Take all. So we've got the golden amulet we're wearing. We've got our Gru repellent back. We've got our strange key, our torch, our sword. We're wearing our hood, the cloak, the bread, and we have the bread, and we're holding the wooden staff. Okay. Back at the museum entrance, there seems to be an entrance hall of some sort. We've got the iron door to the west, which is the entrance. The ornate stone and wooden doors, which lead to the east and north, respectively, and a few steps lead south. We haven't gone south yet, so let's head south. Ah, the royal puzzle entrance that the guards were talking about. This is a small square room, in the middle of which is a perfectly round hole through which you can discern the floor some 10 feet below. The place under the hole is dark, but it appears to be completely enclosed in rock. In any event, it doesn't seem likely that you could climb back up. Exits are west and up a few steps, or north. Well, I don't think I want to go in the hole yet. Maybe I can head... Oh, lying on the ground is a small note. Read note. Warning. The royal puzzle is quite dangerous, and it is possible to become trapped within its confines. Please do not enter the puzzle after hours or when museum personnel are not present. Management. Let's save. And I'm going to head west first. Side room. You are in a narrow room lit from above. A flight of steps leads up towards the north, and a metal door leads to the east. Open door? You cannot force it open. Guess I'll head back north. Alright, save, and let's head down into this puzzle. You are in a small square room bounded to the north and west with marble walls, and to the east and south with sandstone walls. Push north wall. The wall doesn't budge. Push east wall. Oh. The wall slides forward and you follow it. The architecture of this region is getting complex, so that further description will be diagrams of the immediate vicinity in a 3x3 grid. The walls here are rock, but of two different types, sandstone and marble. The following notation will be used. Your position is 2 dots, MM is a marble wall, SS is a sandstone, and question mark is unknown, meaning it's blocked by walls. Okay, so to my north is the marble wall, to my west is the sandstone, and to the south is the sandstone as well. Let me head south. 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 There's a ladder here firmly attached to the west wall. I don't think that's going to help me. South. North, east. There's a sandstone wall to my south and a sandstone wall to my west. I guess I'll push south wall. The wall slides forward and you follow it to its position. You hear a soft snap from behind the wall you were pushing. Well, that's odd. East, south. Okay, so there's just marble. Northwest. North, north, east, north. Ah. There's a ladder here firmly attached to the east wall. Interesting. Okay. South, west, south, southwest, west. North, 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 north. Okay. So I've got a pretty good idea of this room. Give me a moment to try to figure this out. Push south wall. The wall slides forward and you follow it. The center of the floor here is noticeably depressed. Oh, maybe we can cheer it up. Nestled inside the depression is an old and dusty book. Take book. Read book. The book is written in a strong and elegant hand and is full of strange and wondrous pictures. The text is in a tongue unknown to you and is penned in many colors. Some of the words seem to change color as you read them. The book itself is very old and the pages dry and brittle. Okay. Push wall south. Which wall do you mean? The eastern wall, the western wall? Oh, push south wall. I can't? Push south wall. Oh, there we go. Weird that it said that, but okay. Oh no, I want to push the west wall. Sorry, everybody. Uh-oh. I think I may have just messed up. Yep. Is it salvageable is the question. Need to think here for a moment, because I may have made a mistake, but maybe I can still work with it. You can't grab the wall to pull it. Okay, so I can't pull. So I can only do pushing, huh? Got a drawing of how it started. And I've got to think about where I've moved things to so far. Is there any way I can get this to work? I think so. I hope that wouldn't break the wall, the ladder, would it? Well, let's see if I can get this to work then. Okay, we've pushed that wall. We'll head south and then east. And then hopefully this doesn't break the ladder. Pushing the west wall. Okay, I didn't hear a crunch like it did when I pushed the other wall, so hopefully I can then go to the northwest above it and push south wall. Okay, and we'll do that again. And then I can head north. Yeah, okay, so I don't think I've gotten it myself stuck completely. I think I can still make this work. Push the west wall. It's hard to get a gauge on where stuff is. Okay. So I can head there, and I can head there. So if I push this up. Okay. So I want to push this wall with the ladder one more time to the west. I want to get to the south of it and then just push the wall, the north wall now. A few times. Okay, and then if I head west and then I head north, in the ceiling above you is a large circular opening, and there is a ladder here firmly attached to the east wall. Climb. Oh, okay. Nah, not that one. This is the small square room in the middle of which is a perfectly round hole. We climbed up the ladder and we got out. Boy, I thought I got myself stuck. But we are out, and I am going to save. So I have a very ancient book, the wooden staff, bread, the cloak and the hood, a sword, a torch, strange key, the guru repellent, golden amulet, and golden ring. Examine. I never looked at the ring. There's nothing special about the golden ring. Well, whichever. I still got it. One moment, apparently, Meg pointed out that the laptop is no longer showing what I'm seeing, so she's gonna re-add that real quick. And while that's happening, I'm gonna give myself a drink after solving that pushing block puzzle with text. I feel like I'm about ready to face this wizard. Oh, the gizmo is just how we get that on screen. You got it? Okay. Yep, it looks like it. There, now y'all should be able to see it again. Let's continue our adventure. done with that puzzle. I've got the ancient book, a wooden staff, some bread, cloak and hood that I'm wearing. I've got my sword, a torch, strange key that didn't work for that other chest that the old man already opened. The Gru repellent in case I need to go through somewhere that's too dark for light to illuminate somehow. And I'm wearing a gold amulet and a gold ring. Let's head north to the museum entrance and head west to leave. We're out the great door that's rusted, but we got our way through, and we'll head north to the Royal Hall. This is the north end of a large hall with a vaulted ceiling. A long tiled hallway leads north through a tall arch. Although the origin or purpose of this room is unclear, there is a large rendering of the royal seal of Lord Dimwit Flathead carved on the wall. North into the Crystal Grotto. This is a chamber of breathtaking beauty. We'll head west back into the tight squeeze and back into the creepy crawl. And north to the junction, where we've been at the Great Rock and the base of the steps before. Maybe I can use that book at the wall past the damp passage and through the dead end back to the engraving rooms. You're in a room with passages leading southwest and southeast. The north wall is ornately carved, filled with strange runes and writing in an unfamiliar language. Let me see if I can read the book. The book is written in a strong and elegant hand and is full of strange and wondrous pictures. The text is in a tongue unknown to you and is pinned in many colors. Some of the words seem to change color as you read them. Touch. Staff to north wall. Can't go north. Touch. Carvings. What could I do about this? What can I do about these engravings? Examine carvings. You're in a room with passages leading southwest and north and southeast. The north wall is ornately carved, filled with strange runes and writings in an unfamiliar language. Touch carvings. Touch north wall. Fiddling with the northern wall has no effects. What else do I need to do? What do I need to do about this stone carving wall? The book is written in a strong and elegant hand and is full of strange and wondrous pictures. The text is in a tongue unknown to you and is penned in many colors. Some of the words seem to change color as you read them. How do they change color as I read them? Examine the book. Okay, so reading the book and examining the book are the same thing. Examine necklace. Examine the amulet. Examine the cloak. Examine the key. The key is long and heavy skeleton key. Strange though. The key seems to change shape constantly. Oh, interesting. Particularly damp spot. So I was able to go through the southwest, could get back to the damp passage. Stone channel wide and deep, steeply descends from the room to the south, but that's the slippery slope. The channel crosses the room, but the opening where it once continued north is now blocked by rubble. Back at the junction, do a little save. I guess I'll explore to the west a bit more of the junction in the barren area. I never did go northwest from here. You are at a sharp turn on a narrow and steeply sloping path, strewn with boulders of various sizes. The path climbs sharply towards a desolate plain to the southeast. Southwest of here, the path winds down to the base of a cliff. Let's head southwest. You are at the base of a steep cliff. Directly above you is a wide ledge, and far above that, some natural sunlight can be seen. To the northeast is a steeply climbing path, and the ground becomes sandy towards the south. I guess I'll head south. The Flathead Ocean. You are at the shore of an amazing underground sea, the topic of many a legend among adventurers. Few were known to have arrived at this spot, and fewer to return. There is a heavy surf and a breeze is blowing on shore. The land rises steeply to the east, and quicksand prevents movement to the south. A thick mist covers the ocean and extends over the hills to the east. A path heads north along the beach. Guess I'll head back where I came, north to the cliff base, northeast back to the hairpin loop, and then southeast back to the barren area. What more is there to do? There's got to be something with that engravings room. So let's head back through the damp passage, past the dead end, and back to the engravings room. Let me see if I can examine the runes. The runes are in an ancient language. Some pictures among the runes depict flames, stone statues, and figures of old men. What am I missing? Maybe if I touch the runes? Touching the runes has no effect. Touch torch to runes. Does not recognize that sentence. What am I missing here? Push north wall? You can't budget, at least from here. Oh, okay. That's an interesting way to phrase that. Torch. Depicts flames, stone statues, and figures of old men. Flames and stone statues. The only large statue I know of is the one that the sword was in. Maybe if I pull up hood. What am I missing? Gotta do something with this wall, but what? Maybe if I translate runes with book. Read runes with book. How does one look through a very ancient book? Read runes. The runes are in an ancient language. Some pictures among the runes. How do some of the words seem to change colors when I read them? I feel like I'm missing something. Something I need to say or do in this room? What could it be? Speak or say friend. Talking to yourself is said to be a sign of impending mental collapse. Oops. Maybe I need to just wait here? No? You're in a room with passages heading south. Wonder where that old person went. The one that helped me out with the treasure chest. You're in the engravings room with passages heading southwest and southeast. The north wall is ornately carved, filled with strange runes and writing in an unfamiliar language. Don't know how to read this book. Maybe I need to wait for someone? No, not the damp passage. Maybe I'll just try screaming. Ah! Nothing happened. The runes depict a flame, a stone statues, and a figure of an old man. I mean, if I travel... You are standing at the junction of a north-south passage and an east-west passage. To the north, you can make out the bottom of a stairway. The ways to the east and south are relatively cramped, but a wider trail leads to the west. Standing before you is a great rock. Examine rock. The great rock is empty. Okay. You're in a room with a passage. Just kept walking back and forth between the dead end and the engravings room. And an old wizard or an old wizened man is huddled asleep in the corner. He is snoring loudly. From his appearance, he is weak and frail. Your sword has begun to glow very brightly. Talk to old man? He is sleeping soundly and does not respond. Wake man up. The old man is roused to consciousness. He peers at you through eyes which appear much younger and stronger than his frail body and waits, as if expecting something to happen. Well, it says he's weak and frail. I mean, give man bread? He looks up at you and takes the whey bread from you. Slowly, he eats the bread and pauses when he is finished. He starts to speak.
Perhaps what you seek is through there.
He points at the carved wall to the north, where you now notice the bare outlines of a secret door. When you turn back to the old man, you notice that he was gone. He has gone. Your sword is no longer glowing. Open secret door. Okay. Well, that explains why I couldn't figure out what was going on. I had to just keep wandering around until he showed up there. The massive stone door opens noiselessly. Beyond the once secret door are dark, foreboding stairs that lead down to a passage below. Dim light as from torches can be seen in the passage. North. You are standing at the southern end of a long, dimly lit hall. To the south, stairs ascends into darkness, where we came from. To the north, the corridor is illuminated by torches set high in the walls, out of reach. On one wall is a red button. Save. Press button. Click. Did anything happen? Okay. I guess nothing happened. We'll head north. You are in the middle of a long north-south corridor whose walls are polished stone. A narrow red beam of light crosses the room at the north end, inches above the floor. The corridor continues north and south. Examine beam. The red beam of light crosses the north end of the room, only an inch or so above the floor. Reflect beam. Reflect beam. Block beam. I guess I'll block it with my sword. The beam is now interrupted by a sword lying on the floor. Cool, I can cross it. Heading north, this is a part of the long hallway. The east and west walls are dressed stone. In the center of the hall is a shallow stone channel. In the center of the room, the channel widens into a large hole around which is engraved a compass rose. The hallway continues to the south. A large mirror fills the north side of the hallway. Examine mirror. See nothing special about the mirror. Can I go north? There's a large mirror blocking the way. Examine compass. Nothing special about the compass rose. Take compass? What a concept. Oh. Enter mirror. Open mirror. Lift mirror. Playing in this way with the mirror doesn't work. Look at mirror. This is a part of the long hallway. The east and west walls are dressed stone. In the center of the hall is a shallow stone channel. In the center of the room, the channel widens into a large hole around which is engraved a compass rose. Can I enter hole? You hit your head against the stone channel as you attempt this feat. Open panel. Maybe I can push the mirror? The mirror is mounted on a wooden panel, which moves slightly inward as you push, and back out when you let go. The mirror feels fragile. Pull wooden panel? The mirror is mounted on a wooden panel which moves slightly inward as you push and back out when you let go. Pull panel. Pull mirror. Enter wooden panel. Pull move mirror. Push. The mirror is mounted on a wooden panel which moves slightly inward as you push and back out when you let go. I don't know if I want to... The mirror feels fragile. Do I want to break it? Break mirror? Save. Break mirror. Fist. Break mirror with ring. Trying to destroy the mirror with the golden ring is quite self-destructive. Break mirror with staff. Inventory, I have very ancient book, a wooden staff, cloak, torch, strange key. Enter mirror. Enter wooden panel. Open. Pull. Push. Huh. You may need to go back and push button again. Click snap. North to the beam room. North to south, there's a sword here. This is a part of a long hallway. The east and west walls are dressed stone. The center of the hall has a shallow stone channel. In the center of the room, the channel widens to a large hole, which around is engraved a compass. The hallway continues to the south. A large mirror fills the north side of the hallway. The mirror is mounted on a panel, which has been opened outward. Ah, okay. The button shut the door? So, north? Inside mirror. You are inside a rectangular box of wood whose structure is rather complicated. 4 sides and the roof are filled in, and the floor is open. As you face the side opposite the entrance, 2 short sides of carved and polished wood are on your left and right. The left panel is mahogany, the right pine. The wall you face is red on its left half and black on its right. On the entrance side, the wall is white opposite the red part of the wall. Its faces, and yellow opposite the black section. The painted walls are at least twice the length of the unpainted ones. The ceiling is painted blue. In the floor is a stone channel about 6 inches wide and a foot deep. The channel is oriented in a north-south direction. In the exact center of the room, the channel widens into a circular depression perhaps 2 feet wide. Incised in the stone around this area is a compass rose. Running from one short wall to the other is about waist height is a wooden bar, carefully carved and drilled. This bar is pierced in two places. The first hole is in the center of the bar, and thus the center of the room. The second is at the left end of the room as you face opposite the entrance. Through each hole runs a wooden pole. The pole at the left end of the bar is short, extending about a foot above the bar, and ends in a hand grip. The pole has been dropped into a hole carved in the stone floor. The long pole at the center of the bar extends from the ceiling through the bar to the center area in the stone channel. This bottom end of the pole has a T-bar a bit less than 2 feet long attached to it, and on the T-bar is carved an arrow. The arrow and T-bar are pointing west. Okay. If it's pointing west, I guess, what happens if I push the yellow wall? Push yellow wall. The structure shakes slightly but doesn't move. Huh. Do I need to lift, pull the short one? The pole is now slightly above the floor. The mirror quietly swings shut. Okay. Push yellow. The structure rotates clockwise. The arrow on the compass rose now indicates northwest. Push yellow. The structure rotates clockwise. The arrow on the compass rose now indicates north. Pushing the yellow panel doesn't work. Okay. Push mahogany wall. The structure sways unsteadily north and stops over another compass rose. Push it again. Structure sways unsteadily north and stops over another compass rose. Suddenly, two identical stone hands holding tremendous bludgeons come through the top of the structure and hammer the contents of the box to pulp. That includes you. You have died. Huh. Store? Huh. Okay. What did I do wrong? All right. Back in the hallway, the large mirror fills the north side of the hallway. The mirror is mounted on a panel which has been opened outward. Save. Head north. Huh. The long pole at the center of the bar extends from the ceiling through the cheap. Lift pole? What happens if I lift the long pole? Lift pole short? The pole is slightly above the floor. Push yellow wall. Maybe I needed to... Okay, the arrow is now pointing north. Maybe I need to drop short pole. Lower short pole. The pole is lowered into the channel. So, as you face the side opposite the entrance, two short sides of carved and polished wood are on your left and right. There's the mahogany and there's the pine. The wall is faced with the red on one half and the black on the right half, and then there's the opposite of the red wall. The yellow is the opposite of the white wall, and red is the opposite of the black wall. Okay. I've got a little diagram. In the floor is a stone channel about 6 inches wide and a foot deep. The channel is oriented in a north-south direction. In the exact center of the room, the channel widens into a circular depression, perhaps 2 feet wide. So there's the compass rose. Running from one short wall to the other, about waist height, is a wooden bar, carefully carved and drilled. This bar is pierced in 2 places. The first hole is in the center of the bar, and thus the center of the room. The second is at the left end of the room. So I think I needed to drop it down? Hole at the left end of the bar is short, extending about a foot above the bar, and ends in a hand grip. The pole has been dropped into the stone channel, incised in the floor. The long pole at the center of the bar extends from the ceiling through the bar to the circular area in the stone channel. This bottom ends of the pole has a T-bar a bit less than 2 feet long attached to it, and on the T-bar is carved an arrow. The arrow and T-bar are pointing north. So I guess I should just be able... Now if I'm going north, I should be able to push the mahogany wall. Structure slides north and stops over another compass rose. Push it again. Okay. Structure slides north again. I didn't get attacked. Keep going north. The structure has reached the end of the stone channel and won't budge. Okay. Push. White wall. Short pole prevents the structure from rotating. Okay. Lift. Short pole. Push white wall. Do that again, indicating west. Okay, so now I've rotated it until it's facing, the mahogany wall is now facing south. So then if the pine panel was the other mirror that I entered in, can I push pine wall? The pine wall swings open. And then I head north. As you leave, the door swings shut. Dungeon entrance. You are in a north-south hallway which ends to the north at a large wooden door. The south side of the room is divided by a wooden wall into small hallways. to the southeast and southwest. The wooden door has a barrel panel in it about head height. The door itself is closed. I guess open large door? Wait, what? Oops. Maybe I just try open door. The door won't budge. Push panel? Huh. You are in a north-south hallway which ends to the north at a large wooden door. Can I just go north? The wooden door is closed. Open large wooden door. What do you mean I can't see any large wooden door here? The wooden door has a barred panel. Examine panel? Examine wooden door. The wooden door is closed. Okay, open wooden door. Door won't budge. Why won't it budge? Okay, what happens if I go southeast? Narrow room. You are in a narrow room whose east wall is a large mirror. The opposite wall is solid rock. Somewhat to the south, identical stone statues face each other from pedestals on opposite sides of the corridor. The statues represent guardians of Zork, a military order of ancient lineage. They are portrayed as heavily armored warriors standing at ease, hands clasped around formidable bludgeons. Oh, so those are the things that got me. Okay, so I walked around this box of mirrors or something. But that doesn't change my... You are in a north-south hallway which ends to the north, at a large wooden door. South side is divided by a wooden wall. Yeah, that's where I came out of. And I could walk around it to the southwest or southeast. Okay. Starting to make a little more sense. The wooden door has a barred panel in it. Oh. So talking about the south door. Or push wooden door. Why won't the door budge? I guess I'll knock. I knock on the wooden door. The knock reverberates along the hall. For a time, it seems there will be no answer. Then you hear someone unlatching the small wooden panel. Through the bars of the great door, the wrinkled face of an old man appears. After a moment, He starts to smile broadly. He disappears for an instant, and the massive door opens without a sound. The old man motions and you feel yourself drawn towards him.
I am the master of the dungeon,
He booms.
I have been watching you closely during your journey through the great underground empire. Yes,
He says, as if recalling some almost forgotten time.
we have met before, although I may not appear as I did then.
You look closely into his deeply lined face and see the faces of the old man by the secret door, your friend at the cliff, and the hooded figure.
You have shown kindness to the old man and compassion towards the hooded one. I have seen you display patience in the puzzle and trust at the cliff. You have demonstrated strength, ingenuity, and valor. However, one final test awaits you now. Command me as you will and complete your quest.
You are in a narrow north-south corridor. At the south end is a door, and at the north end is an east-west corridor. The door is closed. The Dungeon Master is quietly leaning on his staff here. Okay. I guess let's head... Can I go north? South corridor. You are in an east-west corridor which turns north at its eastern and western ends. The walls are made of the finest marble. An additional passage leads south at the center of the corridor. The Dungeon Master follows you. I guess let's head west. West corridor. This is a hall with polished marble halls. It widens slightly as it turns east at its northern and southern ends. The Dungeon Master follows you. I guess I'll head north. North corridor. This is a wide east-west corridor which opens onto a northern parapet. At its center, you can see flames and smoke as you peer towards the parapet. The corridor turns south at either end, and in the center of the southern wall is a heavy wooden door with a small window barred with iron. The door is closed. The Dungeon Master follows you. I mean, what's to the north? The parapet. You are standing behind a stone retaining wall which rims a large parapet overlooking a fiery pit. It is difficult to see through the smoke and flame which fills the pit, but it seems to be more or less bottomless. The pit itself is circular, about 200 feet in diameter, and is fashioned of roughly hewn stone. The flames generate considerable heat, so it is rather uncomfortable standing here. There is an object here which looks like a sundial. On it are indicators and an arrow in the center. A large button. On the face of the dials are numbers 1 through 8. The indicator points to the number 1. To the south, across a narrow corridor, is a prison cell. The Dungeon Master follows you. To the south, across the narrow corridor, is the prison cell. Okay, so what if I turn dial to, I don't know, it's April, so let's turn it to 4. And push button. The button depresses with a single click and pops back. Okay, let's head south. The north corridor and south again. Oh, the cell door is closed. Open cell door. The cell door is now open. South. You are in a featureless prison cell. You can see an east-west corridor outside the open wooden door in front of you. Your view also takes in the parapet and behind a large fiery pit. Behind you to the south is a bronze door which is closed. You notice that the Dungeon Master doesn't follow you. What to do? Ask Dungeon Master to switch dial to 1. Ask to go north. Very well. I am at the parapet. Okay. Ask Dungeon Master to change dial to 1. Doesn't know the word change. To set dial to 1.
As you wish,
he replies. Ask Dungeon Master to press button.
As you wish.
You are in a bare prison cell. Its wooden door is securely fastened, and you can see only flames and smoke through its small window. On the south wall is a bronze door which seems to be closed. You notice that the cell door is now closed. Open bronze door? The bronze door is locked. Unlock bronze door. What do you want to unlock the bronze door with? Key. The key seems to mold itself to the shape of the lock. With a mere twist of your hand, the massive bolt gives way. Open bronze door. On the other side of the bronze door is a narrow passage which opens out into a larger area. This is a large room, richly appointed in a style that bespeaks exquisite taste. To judge from its contents, it is the ultimate storehouse of the wealth of the great underground empire. There are chests here containing precious jewels, mountains of Zork mids, rare paintings, ancient statuaries, and beguiling curiosities. On one wall is an annotated map of the empire, showing the locations of various troves of treasure and of several superior scenic views. On the desk at the far end of the room may be found stock certificates representing a controlling interest in Frobaz Co. International, the multinational conglomerate and parent company of the Frobaz Magic Boat Company, like the one in the first Zork that we could command, and the hot air balloon. As you gleefully examine your newfound riches, the Dungeon Master materializes beside you and says,
"Now that you have solved all the mysteries of the dungeon, it is time for you to assume your rightly earned place in the scheme of things. Long have I waited for one capable of releasing me from my burden."
He taps you lightly on the head with his staff, mumbling a few well-chosen spells, and you feel yourself changing, growing older and more wise, with more power. As the old man fades away, you feel you've taken your position as the new Dungeon Master, wanting to check out your powers as your adventures end in Zork. Well, and that is the end of Zork 3. Thank you everybody for joining this adventure. What a crazy end. We conquered all of the above ground and below ground in Zork 1, and we took out the Wizard of Frobaz, as well as conquered the final chests and challenges of the Dungeon Master to become the new Dungeon Master ourselves.